I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message! Yo, family, what's going on, man? It's your guy, Boro the Lucky Libra here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Know Yourself Academy, alright? And as you can see by the title, we're going to be getting into the Moon Sign series. And we jumping this joint off with the Aries Moon Sign. Y'all see I brought the whiteboard out, alright? So we're going to be making some notes, alright? My newcomers and whatnot, we're going to start getting familiar with certain themes and certain words that we want to attach to certain signs. So we just start getting familiar in its entirety and start knowing, alright, yeah. I know Aries energy deal with, this Mars like shit and this passion. I know Virgos deal with, practicality and logic. Sometimes when we just see the words attached next to the sign or the energy, it just help us, remember whatnot. I'm a visual learner too, so I know how it is for my visual learners out there, alright? Now, before we get into, the Aries Moon Sign in itself, in its specifically, let's talk about the moon. Let's talk about the moon, alright? So, Aries, marker type drive. Damn. I don't know if y'all can see that like that. Y'all should be able to see that. So Aries moon. So let's talk about the moon first. So what is the moon in astrology? Alright? The moon is our lightest tool, cloth, chakra that we use to even reincarnate into this reality. Alright? When we talk about the 12 houses and our sun, moon, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Venus, out of all of those stars, planets, the moon is the lightest one. Is the lightest one. The moon is dealing with our vibration. The moon is dealing with our past life information. The moon is dealing with our emotional nature, our emotional state, how we react to things. The sun shows your natural actions, the moon is your natural reactions. But overall, it's also your natural emotional state and how you deal with the feelings you catch. Alright? And when I talk about emotional nature, emotional state, this is more so the element your moon is. If your moon is in water, your moon is in fire, your moon is in air, your moon is in earth. You can have an air moon and an earth moon catch the same feeling. But how they process it and go about expressing it or what they do with the feeling is entirely different. Is it different from what the air moon and the fire moon do with their feelings? Different from what the water moon and the earth moon do with their feelings due to the element and their emotional nature. Alright? So the moon is, how we react. The moon is who you really are. The moon is who you really are. Alright? The moon is motivating the sun to carry out certain actions. Okay? So when a sun sign is doing something, it's doing something. When a sun sign is acting and presenting some form of action, the moon is the energy signature behind that action. But how you do what your moon wants you to do is what the sun sign is. Okay? So, another example, you could have two people both have Virgo moons. But one sun is a Gemini, one sun is a Sagittarius. Now, they're going to feel the same way about certain things, but that Gemini sun and the Sagittarius sun are going to act on the same feeling in two different ways. But they're trying to accomplish the same thing through their action, but the way they go about their actions is differently. Alright? But the feeling is, the motivation was the same. Okay? So the moon is what people don't see. Alright? The moon is what people only see when you open up. When you release things you don't open up to people you just meet or people you're not close to. Alright? Things you're more reserved about. Things more intimate, more private to you. Your emotional state. Your soft spot. Okay? And there's a lot of signs that, especially Aries moon, they don't like open up their motherfucking soft spot. Aries moon, Scorpio moons, you could say to an extent Virgo moons a little bit, Capricorn moons, okay? It's some of these moon signs, it's different. It's different how they open up to you emotionally, alright? So, let's break down some Aries energy, okay? So, Aries, ruled by Mars.
Ruled by Mars, okay?
First house, birthed, is that how birth spell? Don't worry about that.
First house. First house.
y'all know when y'all be spelling something and you know how the word is spelled, but for some reason today at Wednesday at 5:03, this shit look funny to me. So I'm not even gonna go there. So ruled by Mars, first house, Aries Moon, cardinal fire. Aries is cardinal fire. So cardinal fire. So we take our moon, we take our emotional needs, what makes us comfortable. The moon is also what makes you comfortable. So whenever people take you out of that energy of where your moon is at, that shit make you uncomfortable, and it'll make you do drastic things to get that comfortability back. Now, when you take the moon and you put it in Mars, you put it with the influence of Mars. What's Mars? Mars is a warrior-like energy. Mars is not about, Mars is dealing with your intentions, all right? You have your actions, but before the actions was your intentions. So intentions are internal. So it's dealing with your passions, your desires, things you're goal-orientated towards. You know, it's a direct energy. So Mars don't like relating. Mars don't like compromising. Mars like going straight through, all right? So when you have the moon there, you know, with that influence, this is somebody that has a emotional, fiery like state, emotional state. Real impulsive, can be very impulsive. But matter of fact, let's just go through these three other things before we actually get into the Aries Moon energy. So we have ruled by Mars. So we know Mars deals with intentions, goals, desires, passions, fiery like warrior like energy. Not trying to compromise, goes right through. Okay. Then we have the first house of the zodiac, the rising ascendant house. Well, I can't even say rising ascendant house, because depending on what your ascendant house would be, your rising ascendant house. But this is the first house. So this is dealing with birth. This is dealing with creation. This is dealing with a lot of vitality, because the Aries constellation was birthed out of the first house, not the Aries constellation. Aries ruled the first house. No, the houses birthed the Aries star constellation. So that first house is a cardinal fire house. And we know cardinal deals with creating new and initiating new. We know fire, the element fire, is dealing with seeing and feeling, all right? So when you're creating new ways to see and feel, you're constantly dealing with new ways to see things, new ways to feel about things. So as an Aries, somebody that just has Aries energy, period, when something presented to you, you know, somebody comes to you with an idea, it's just your nature to have a different way of seeing the thing, seeing what's being presented to you. You just have a nature of having a different way of feeling about how somebody feels about something, you know. So that's just, and it comes off opposing, but at the same time, that's just Aries, because it's more so dealing with the first house energy, with that cardinal energy. This is all starter, first leader, like pioneer like energy, but it gets, because it's down to the modality and the first house, and because of the element, it trickles down to the psyche. So this could make somebody real invested, emotionally invested in their personal goals, into the self, all right? The first house is about the self, is about your personal issues, and how you consciously see other people's personal issues, how people deal with their personal issues, how people present their personal issues. And I'm using the word issue just as in circumstance, as in whatever, like it's just not as a negative issue, like a problem, just it's an issue, is an issue, is a situation, is whatever. So Aries is dealing with that, with the self. So when you put the moon there, now you have somebody emotional state that's real impulsive, very passionate though, and there's so much passion that is overwhelming that it could turn into frustration, because we know when we're talking about Mars, that's the negative side of Mars. You have the passion, you have the vitality, you have the willpower, and then when the passion and certain goals are not met and certain things aren't accomplished, what it turns into, that fiery state turns into frustration, anger, okay? So Aries will express their motherfucking anger and frustration, but when it's in the moon sign, this could be somebody that be having different type of frustration mood swings. So you can have an Aries moon and they just seem like, you know, they're having, you know, they're just in their little funk, and they're just dealing with these little frustrations that they have with certain personal issues, personal goals, not being seen or met the way that they wanted to, and it's not really nothing that they could, that like somebody else could do to really help them with it. And that's another thing. Aries moons don't like advice. They don't really like advice from people telling them how to deal with their own emotions, because they look at that shit as these are mine. And Mars energy, Aries and Scorpios don't like feeling vulnerable. That, like, somebody with heavy Mars energy, heavy Aries and Scorpio energy, don't like feeling vulnerable. So when you have somebody else trying to tell you how to deal with your emotions and feelings, make you feel like you weak, you don't know how to have no control of your emotions and feelings. And Aries moons don't like that shit. So with all the passion and fire they have, you'd be lucky if they don't fire off on your ass because you trying to tell them how to deal with their emotions and feelings. And the crazy thing about it, the advice you might be giving them might be what they need to hear. Might be what they need to hear, but because this placement is, this is such a hot placement for the moon, it's such a it could become a reckless and chaotic energy for the moon. So it's like it needs to listen to that energy, but at the same time, this energy is so overwhelming on its own for the person dealing with it. You Aries moons watching this, y'all probably feel like y'all get overwhelmed by your own emotions, feelings, your passions and goals, and then that frustration can take over. The frustration make you want to break shit as an Aries moon. You feel me? I think Aries moons, like, I know the Aries moon energy well. Like, I have my ex-girlfriend was a Aries moon, Virgo sun, Aries moon. My blood brother is an Aries sun, Aries moon. All right, so I can see the difference in the reactions and how it takes place when when the moon is in the emotional state, because the moon changes everything. The moon changes when you have a sign in the sun, moon, and rising. It's 3 different things. Same energies, but they're projected in 3 different ways. When you have the sun, this energy is more so as a shell and it's pushed out, and it's more so of an appearance. It's more masculine, it's more pushed out. When you have a rising, it's more so of an aura and appearance and what you're into personality-wise, all right? And how people see you, okay? Whether you're trying to push it out or not. The sun sign, you're trying to push these things out, and you're naturally pushing these things out. You want people to see you this way. But the moon, like I said, is the soft spot. Is the spot people don't see. But it's dealing with your emotional nature, so you hone in on these energies a little bit more. These energies tap the soft spot more because it is the soft spot, all right? So things dealing with this energy, you know, affect you differently when you have it in the moon sign. So this is why an Aries moon sign could be more impulsive than an Aries sun sign. That's how deep it gets. So, and it's, remember I said it got Mars influence, so it's a real warrior, fighter-like spirit. Okay, so it's like for example, my ex, I really don't want to use my ex as an example, but like, she was a Virgo sun. Okay, she's a Virgo sun, Aries moon, but you know, you wouldn't really say Virgo has a aggressive nature or whatnot. Okay, and they're more so you know, into the mental, into being logical, practical. Okay, but because she was an Aries moon, okay, she had her impulsive moments. So it doesn't matter what the sun sign is. The sun sign is just gonna, well, it does matter what the sun sign is depending on how somebody's gonna push out their Aries energy. But at the same time, that doesn't stop the emotional nature. The Gemini, depending on if it's a Gemini sun with the Aries moon, a Libra sun, a Pisces sun, Aquarius sun, that energy is still gonna get pushed out some way or some form. The sun just modifies it, all right? That passion is gonna get pushed out. The sun is just gonna modify it, all right? So, but that's very important to understand. These signs don't really like advice or coaching or any of that on how to deal with their emotions and feelings in their internal. Because to them, they already focus on the self, and they like I said, they don't like feeling weak, feeling vulnerable. So they're not gonna give you the chance to even give them any advice or feel like they don't want you to think of them like that, Aries moon. They don't want you to think of them like that, period. All right? So, you know, I just had a couple of notes here. Aries moons are introverts that sometimes try to, you know, get extroverted. And you know, Aries is an extroverted sign. It's a masculine fire sign. Because when you have your moon in fire, you know, fire is about expression. Fire is about expression, period. So when you have moon and fire, you're gonna have people that express their emotional nature, express their emotional state and how they feel about things. But the thing about Aries moon, they're not gonna be repeating themselves and shit. They're gonna say, you have to listen to them. Like, they're gonna say one thing, and especially if you're dating an Aries moon, they're gonna say something so you heard it, so you know what's up, and they're expecting you to abide by that shit. Cause like I said, Mars, I don't want to use the word controlling, but it's like Mars can just be domineering, can want to dominate. So through different ways, the Aries moon through sex can try to dominate you in a relationship or dominate you emotionally in some type of shape or form. All right, and it could be so subconscious. All right, but when I say the word dominate, it's more so like, you know, they're gonna wanna. It's modified through the other placements, but in some shape or form, they're gonna kind of want to wear the pants in a relationship, because the things that make their emotional state comfortable in a relationship, they're not gonna leave it up to you for you to guess what makes them comfortable emotionally. They want you to know, because Aries moons be serious about that shit. Like I said, they're passionate, but because it's first house energy, they're passionate towards their personal goals. So when they're dealing with somebody, they still care about their shit personally heavy, all right? And then they're gonna make sure that person that they're dating knows that, all right? So that's another thing with an Aries moon person. You're not gonna have to worry about, if you're dating them, you're not gonna have to worry about this person being clingy to the point that when they're not around, you feel like you gotta like babysit them and call them and hit them up and make sure they're okay and whatnot. Or you're not gonna feel like they're gonna annoy you because they miss you so much. Aries moon is their independent ass gonna have their personal life. Trust that. They're gonna have their personal life, their personal friends, their personal hobbies, their personal aspirations. They're gonna have all that shit. They're gonna have all that shit. All right, shit. You might be the one dating that Aries moon, end up feeling like, damn, like this person really into the motherfucking selves that much. This not even a relation. You might end up feeling like that. So if you like dating independent people, an Aries moon person could be for you, because they also value somebody with their own independence. All right, but it's funny how I'm saying independence, but because they come out the first house, and because the first house is like that birth energy, so the vitality is real high. You can see a little baby, little kid, you know, them first couple years has high vitality, could be active all day, play around all day, you know, be in the playground all day. And it's not until you start getting older and start getting indoctrinated into and getting settled into certain patterns and routines in school that, you know, our vitality starts to get weakened a little bit by the society we live in. But shit, Aries energy is real vital. So somebody with a lot of Aries energy or Aries moon could be somebody that's real vital at an old age, or somebody that you feel like they like shit. You never fucking need a fucking nap in this motherfucker. Like damn, like you feel me? You always got energy to just get up and get to it. Yet spontaneous energy is always there. All right. And another thing about Aries being passionate is like, remember, it's like people hear Aries energy and they automatically think that it's like a real aggressive type person, and the passion is filtered through your different lights, which would also be your sun sign. So you can be a nerd, but if you have an Aries moon as a nerd, you're probably gonna be real passionate about the shit that you're into and your homework and getting honor roll and fucking making certain honor roll lists and getting you know, accepted into big universities and whatnot. You passionate about that. You go hard. Wherever Mars is at in your chart, you go hard. So you might go hard for those things. So it just depends on what you're into. All right, is where you're gonna go hard. But the Aries moon gonna be passionate about some shit. They're gonna have some personal goals. All right, best believe that. But with them being so into the personal, they can take things personal a lot. With an Aries moon. So that's even another thing, all right? So you got to understand sometimes Aries, and when I say take things personal, like, I mean it's deep, like deep to the point where you think people are doing things that were influenced by you and they're not. You know, you could be at your workplace and you could be sitting at your desk and somebody could like have to come in your room, in your desk or your office because they left something in there, or because they had to ask you something serious about work or something serious, and you could think it's probably like, oh, because they like you or something, or it has something deeper about you connected to it. Like you can always relate it back to yourself, okay? Or somebody's telling you something and you taking it personal. All right, because Aries, like I said, Aries Moon, that Aries energy, that Mars influence, don't like feeling vulnerable. Don't like feeling vulnerable. All right. Don't like to repeat shit. Like, yeah, don't like to repeat shit. That shit'll piss the Aries off. They're expecting your ass to listen and hear that shit once, and that's what it is. And then when we talk about the women, when we talk about Aries women, like, it's funny because when I talk about Aries, the Aries Moon woman, or just even the Aries Sun woman too, as well, it's like, I can't even, I feel like I would never call an Aries woman, oh, she pretty, or she's gorgeous. I feel like an Aries, that Mars energy is gonna make me want to say, yo, she's sexy. Like, it's more of a seductive energy. You feel me? It ain't no little girl energy here. This is a woman that's confident, that is an alpha, that's gonna go get her shit, that's not gonna be dependent on a man, or you know, at the same time, like an Aries Moon woman will be the one telling her man to get on her shit before she get the fuck out of here, cause you on some bullshit. You feel me? You don't think you're gonna be dependent on an Aries Moon woman like that, and like you think she's gonna be your sugar mama and shit, cause she already out here passionate about her personal shit. So Aries Moon, especially Aries Moon women, you know, they could see when a man, ain't on his personal shit, cause they already lived. Cause that shit makes you emotionally aware of that type of shit. Emotionally aware if what somebody's personal life is into when you start dealing with them though on an intimate level. So it's like, you know, they don't like that shit, because when you don't have your own personal shit, then what happens? You're more of a dependency on me, and we need to have that space, that solitude, that barrier. Like, we need to have that. You feel me? Aries Moon, you feel me? Depending on certain placements, and the Aries Moon person can be clingy in a relationship. There's also certain placements, house placements, that can make somebody overindulge in love and relationships and whatnot. But at the same time, that independent factor will play out there, because their personal issues means a lot to them. So you gotta keep that in mind. They despise weakness. Aries don't like I said, they don't like feeling vulnerable. So even if they're weak at something, don't know how to do something or whatnot, or have a flaw, they'll do their best to project the energy that they know how to do that shit. All right, you know, they just don't like being vulnerable. And yeah, like the damn, my handwriting is really crazy, y'all. My shit is really crazy. But if you got a Mercury and Scorpio, you should really, let me drop a comment. Let me know if you got good handwriting or not, because my Mercury and Scorpio, this should be bad. But anyways, you know, these are the main components that go into that moon. The passion for Mars, the single-mindedness. All right, the single-mindedness. Now, with all this passion that Aries Moon has, is like, it can direct that shit. It can direct that shit into something. Remember, the cardinal signs are like the starters, the initiators, the leaders. Fixed signs could stay more consistent with something, but cardinal still have the willpower to push out and create. So it's like Aries Moon, Mars is more of a direct energy. So when the Aries Moon emotionally hones in on something, you know, that's a lot of passion and willpower that's gonna come as a direct energy towards a goal. And like I said, this is powerful, overwhelming energy. But the Aries Moon that knows how to channel this shit, it's a powerful motherfucker here. Powerful motherfucker. So that wraps up the Aries Moon right there. You feel me? You got the Mars influence, got the first house influence, cardinal fire. You got some fiery, passionate, people that's gonna manifest some personal goals, set examples for others on how to manifest the personal goals, and why putting energy into the self and not being so relatable all the time is what's gonna help you get from point A to point B. When people learn to focus on themselves and their personal goals and what they have going on, not be paying attention to so much other shit. All right. However, you guys gotta be careful of not being so impulsive. All right. Gotta take a second or two to fill out your emotion before expressing right away. All right. You guys gotta refrain from not being so self-destructive because you're not that relatable emotionally. Sometimes you have to really try your best to see where other people are coming from. Okay. Take a note from your opposite end, Libra. All right. Know when to jump in that bag and be a little bit relatable. Besides that, all the passion in the motherfucking world to go out there and accomplish a motherfucking personal goal. So y'all already know what it is. I hope you guys got enlightened, elevated in some type of shape or form after watching this video. Y'all already know to like, subscribe, and all that. And we're gonna be coming back to y'all next with the Taurus moon sign video. And the moon is exalted in Taurus, so we're gonna have to go in on that video. But y'all already know what it is. It's Boro, and I'm out of here. Peace.